The information in this video is for entertainment and informational purposes only. Hiking and outdoor activities involve inherent risks, including injury or death. Always exercise caution, stay on marked trails, and assess conditions before proceeding. The creator assumes no responsibility for any harm, injuries, or damages that may occur. Viewers follow this guide at their own risk. Twin Sisters Rock is located right off Highway 730, about 20 miles outside of Pasco in Washington, in the dramatic Wallula Gap along the Columbia River. The two towering basalt pillars rise roughly 500 feet above sea level and 300 feet above the Columbia River below, jutting dramatically skyward from the cliffs like ancient sentinels keeping watch over the plateau. You can actually see them clearly right from the road, and they're striking even from that distance. But if you want to truly experience them, there are trails that wind all around these formations and through the surrounding landscape. Join me as we explore the multitude of trails, the breathtaking views, and these incredible rock formations. The parking area for Twin Sisters Rock is right off of Highway 730. If you're coming from the south, it appears just after a bend in the highway, so you'll want to stay alert and be ready for it. Coming from the north, it's a bit easier to spot. It's a fairly generous lot with room for 8 or more cars, and honestly, you get a great view of the rocks right from where you park, which sets the tone for what's to come. There's an informational sign at the trailhead, though it's quite weathered and faded and a bit hard to make out. There are no bathrooms or any other amenities here, so come prepared and plan accordingly. The trail wastes no time. It starts with an immediate incline right from the trailhead. But don't let that worry you. It's not too steep and it doesn't last long. As you climb, the rocks tower above you against the open sky. And if you're visiting in spring, the landscape around you is remarkably lush and green. If you're lucky, the hillsides will also be alive with wildflowers. After a short distance, the trail levels out, and before too long, you'll arrive at a junction where it splits into 3 separate spurs. You're welcome to explore this area in whatever order you like. There's no wrong way to do it. But I'll take you along the route I chose, which ends up forming a giant figure-8 loop through the area. I think it hits all the main highlights and viewpoints, so it's a great way to see everything. For that route, continue straight at the junction. One of the first things you come across, and honestly, one of the most unexpected, are sand dunes. I'll admit this caught me completely off guard. I knew we were out in the desert, but actual sand dunes weren't something I was anticipating, and they're a really striking and cool geological feature of this area. Nature has a way of surprising you out here. From the dunes, you can walk across and pick up a small trail that leads up to a low ridge on the opposite side. As you make your way up, the views begin to open up and become even more dramatic. And if you're here in spring, you'll be hiking through a beautiful display of wildflowers. Balsam-root with their bold yellow blooms, delicate Snake River daisy, and wild begonia adding splashes of color across the hillside. It's a genuinely stunning combination against the backdrop of the basalt and the big open sky. Once you crest the top of the ridge, the full panorama unfolds around you. The Twin Sisters stand tall directly across from you, and the view from this angle is one of the most dramatic on the entire loop. The formation silhouetted against the river and the plateau beyond. This is also a great moment to reflect on what created all of this. These rock formations are a direct result of the catastrophic Missoula Ice Age floods, which tore through this corridor roughly 12,000 to 15,000 years ago at the end of the last ice age. The scale of what those floods did to this landscape is genuinely humbling to think about standing right here. Looking behind you, there's also a striking basalt ridge that's worth taking in. It's a reminder that the geology here extends far beyond just the Twin Sisters themselves. You'll also notice that you're up against some private property at this point. As tempting as it might be to explore further up the valley, please make sure not to cross the fence line. If you're curious, there are additional trails in these hills that stay well outside the private property. Worth searching out if you want to extend your day. Once you've soaked up the views from the ridge, head a little further up the hill toward the river. Up here, you'll get an up-close look at some smaller but genuinely interesting rock formations, and the views expand even more. More of the Twin Sisters, and a wider stretch of the Columbia River rolling through the gorge below. This is also a good moment for an important heads-up. Rattlesnakes have been spotted throughout this area. Stay alert, keep your eyes and ears open, and watch your step, especially around rocks and in taller grass. From here, we're going to make our way over for a much closer look at the rocks themselves. Head back down the trail you just came up and watch for a split in the trail. To your right, you should see a trail that cuts down and across the small valley between you and the dunes. Take it all the way down until you reach another fork, where you'll find a trail heading directly up toward Twin Sisters Rock. This is the most challenging section of the hike. It's a noticeable incline, the footing can be loose in places, and there are some rocks underfoot. So this is where good hiking shoes really earn their keep. You'll pass a spur trail or two on the way up, but just keep your eyes on the rocks and keep climbing toward them. Near the top, the trail bends around a tight turn and suddenly opens onto a small plateau. And the Twin Sisters are right there in front of you. There's genuinely no preparing yourself for the first moment you see them from this close. The sheer scale of them is something that photos and videos simply cannot capture. You have to be standing there to feel it. A small trail leads even closer to the base, and another wraps around the front sides of the formations. And from certain angles, it even looks like you could climb up between them. Please be aware, however, that rock climbing on the Twin Sisters formations is prohibited by Wallula County Ordinance. Stay on the established trail and take in the view from the designated areas. There's plenty to see without going further. While you're up on the plateau, take a moment to walk in the opposite direction from the rocks, out to a small open viewpoint on the far side. From here, you can look back down over the trail systems below, the sand dunes in the valley, and a broader sweep of the surrounding landscape. It's a wonderful little perspective on the whole area you've just explored. When you're ready to head down, look for a small trail to your left. This is a slightly faster descent than the way you came up. There's a short section at the start that requires a bit of careful footing, but it levels out quickly and loops around the front of that plateau ridge. At the bottom, you'll arrive back at the main trail junction from the beginning of the hike. This time, continue straight. This route takes you up onto another ridge, and I promise it's worth the short climb. It's a moderate incline, but not a long one, and the views at the top make every step worthwhile. From up here, you're treated to a beautiful stretch of views looking down the Columbia River. You can follow the trail to the right along the ridgeline, or venture out closer to the edge for even wider sightlines. Keep going all the way to the end of the ridge and you'll reach a final viewpoint with a clear look across the Columbia to the far bank. It's a lovely place to pause and take it all in before heading back. From this point, a trail descends back down to the main trail. Once you reach it, turn left and follow it back down to the parking lot. I've driven past Twin Sisters Rock more times than I can count on my way out to Walla Walla over the years. But actually stopping, getting out, and hiking through the trails that surround these formations was a completely different experience. And honestly, a memorable one. I had no idea this whole trail system was out here, or just how impressive the rocks are up close. I hope this guide inspires you to pull over next time you're passing through and experience it for yourself. I think you'll be really glad you did.